No, we're just touching upon DRS. Can we do away with the umpire's call? Because it's either out or not out and nothing in between. And I would like to hear Angus.
The question was, can we do away with umpire's call?
Shall I start?
Yeah, go on, you go.
I'll tell you where this is from, because you're not alone to make that decision in ICC Cricket Committee and the MCC World Cricket Committee that we used to have. This was always a big level of debate. And Saurav Ganguly, who's a legend in these parts, but it was on our MCC laws, MCC World Cricket Committee when it was still in place. And he was on felt that it should be get rid of umpire's call. The reason ICC have it is really twofold. One, as you all know, umpiring is difficult. Okay, fielders drop catches, that's okay, but as soon as you guys make a mistake, oh God, you're not meant to be human. And there's always been that element of doubt, and if there's a doubt, it tends to go in favour of the batter. The umpire must be sure that the batter is out if he or she is going to raise the finger. And with umpire's call, it was felt that having that small sort of area around the outside and the tops of the stumps was just trying to sort of put that sort of subjective thing that we have as umpires in our heads, that we might probably just sliding down, probably just missing, give the benefit of the doubt to the batter. It was trying to sort of factor that in, and if you just have that it's literally that's going to be out because it's just clipping, we would have quite short test matches. I think 4-day test would become a thing, and I think that whole fact of giving the umpire some discretion for what is a very, very difficult job, I think it's reasonable. I also think that cricket fans generally understand the concept of umpire's call now, and yeah, I totally see your point, but my concern would be that Gus would be happy, but there would be far more dismissals and shorter games if anything that was just scratching the stumps was given out. And actually, I was involved in the very first testing of Hawkeye in 2008 for the first series between India and Sri Lanka. I tested Hawkeye and Virtual, and there were twice when we were doing it, the ball scratched the stumps. We heard it, we had microphones and we heard it, but the bells didn't come off because the ball literally just scratched the stumps, and that happens. And so technically that hit the stumps, but the bells didn't come off. So it's, again, I think that quest for perfection is, I think, dangerous in some ways. I think the game needs to accept that the officiating will never be perfect. We can get it as good as we can, but be careful what you wish for if you're going down the route of everything hitting the stumps being out. Because I think the unintended consequence would be shorter games and lower batting averages, and Angus Fraser being happy.
Yeah, am I supposed to feel sorry for you then? Well, no, as a bowler, you don't have to knock a stump out of the ground to get someone out. It just has to knock the ball off, doesn't it? But I thought umpire's call was brought in because the tracking wasn't totally accurate. So the ball would have been that size, and yet the area it could hit was bigger, and it was to sort of, I suppose, regulate that into the decision making, and I agree with that. So if the tracking of the cricket ball is not absolutely precise, then I think there should be a little bit of forgiveness either way. But yeah, so
That is the other reason why it's for exactly that reason. Is for pitching, it's interesting. Actually, when the DRS was brought in, the ICC came to us and we had to define what was meant by pitching and what was meant by impact with the batter. And we, as you probably know, we applied two different things for the two things. So for the ball pitching, the ball being around obviously the bit that's going to hit the ground first is the middle of the ball. But for contact with the batter, it's obviously the edge of the ball. And before DRS, we hadn't really thought of that. We just thought the ball was the ball. And so this is the sort of level of granular detail we had to go into and go through with ICC. You're right there, Gus. The concern was that, particularly at the beginning, how accurate is this technology, and can we rely on it to be 100% accurate? So by having the elements of umpires call also helps to factor in just a bit of sort of forgiveness for any technical mistakes.
I was watching football and the offsides, and it's like no one paid any attention. The ball, when it's hit, the ball is in contact with the footballer's boot for a piece of time. And is it the first contact, or is it just the moment that it leaves the last bit of contact with the boot before it sets off? And if you've got two players moving in opposite direction, that is probably a foot. There's a difference there. So I look at offsides and think, well, no one ever sort of looks at the bloke who's passed the ball. They just take an image of the ball on his foot and assume that's the moment is correct. But the ball will be on that foot for, I know it's a split second, but the split second can be sort of 6 inches or a foot, which makes a lot of difference. And I suppose it's the same, in different ways in cricket, but it's every sport probably has similar things with technology. And I suppose, like all these games, well, we know the laws were created hundreds of years ago when there was no TV, and as TV coverage has improved and improved and improved, we're seeing so much more, and the game is trying to keep up with the coverage, really, isn't it? So that it does remain relevant, really, which is the real challenge for all sports.